So welcome to the second data talks for this year. This one about Microsoft Fabric as per the slide that you can hopefully all see. And I'll hand over to Indira very shortly to kick that off, but a few things just to say. So thank you all for coming online. We know that everyone's time is relatively precious, but hopefully you learn something from today and take something away with you. It's a small group, so I'll be prodding people for questions, if that's okay, just to make sure that it's interactive. Maybe keep the questions or put your hand up and I can come back to those as we go. As part of the session, because quite a few people are sort of coming and going, we will record the session, if that's okay with everyone, just to make sure that we can post it online and make sure that others can use the data that we're sending. So without further ado, I'll hand over to Indira.
Thank you, Glenn. Okay. Let me kick off. So today's session is on Microsoft Fabric. How many of you have heard of Microsoft Fabric? Just a thumbs up, please. One, Ramzan, yes. Shilpa, yes. Ranija, okay, yes. Francis, sorry, yeah. Can't see properly. Okay, yeah, couple. Okay, so four of you have heard about Microsoft Fabric. So can you come off mute and just let me know, maybe in a couple of sentences, what Fabric means to you? Anyone can come off mute. Francis, Shilpa, Shavin, or you can type in the chat.
I think it's a data platform by Microsoft.
Data platform? Okay.
Yeah, from start till end.
End to end, yeah. Okay. Well, does anyone wants to add something? Mark, do you want to add something to that?
It is a platform which is used to build the interfaces, web interfaces.
What kind of interfaces?
So like web interfaces, web applications, and is that right?
Yeah, you will get to know by the end of it.
Okay.
It's more like a one-stop shop, it's like a package from Microsoft.
Yeah.
So basically, it gives you the ability and provision to do your data mining, analytics,
Yes.
and everything in one platform.
Yes, Shavin, that's okay. Yeah, yeah. And Andrew, you had your hand up.
I think it's bringing the data integration side into Power BI. So instead of relying on say a source SQL database, we can do all of the analytics and dimensional transformation inside of Power BI.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, all of you are correct to some extent, and you might be able to gain a little bit more knowledge by the end of this session. And because I'm going to just do end-to-end, try and do, I'm just saying try, praying the demo gods, try and do a demo. Okay, so now, are we recording? Glenn, are we recording?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, okay, let's go to the next step, today's agenda. Okay, who can use Microsoft Fabric? And what is Microsoft Fabric and why should we use it? Blah, blah, and blah, blah, and a demo, okay? So now, who can use Microsoft Fabric? So you can think of the session, I have titled it as for data professionals, because here you can see all kinds of data professionals that can use Microsoft Fabric. So you have different personas in your organizations where you work with. You have data analysts, BI developers, data engineers, data scientists, data architects, solution architects, enterprise architects, data managers, you name them, everything data, they can use Microsoft Fabric. Okay, so now let's take a scenario, okay? I have a company called Contoso Electronics NZ. And in that company, there are a lot of departments like customer services department and data engineering department and IT infrastructure department and human resources and also a data science team. And what they are doing is in this company, they are using a lot of different tools. Each team is using their own tools. Okay. So data engineering is using Logic Apps, Batch, Azure Batch, and functions, and Azure Data Factory for integration for copying data from here and there, etc. And also the customer services use data from various databases and some proprietary databases and things like that. And infrastructure team obviously provides the infrastructure. So they use different set of tools, and human resources, they use some other set of tools. And also data science team, they bring on another tool called Azure Databricks or Azure ML or whatever. So each team has different set of tools that they use. So can anyone maybe come off mute? Can you see what are your thoughts of this scenario? Just want to get some idea about what you think if these different teams are using different set of tools. What are do you see any issues with that, or what is your initial thinking?
That's really complex. There's a lot of tools there.
Yes, a lot of tools by each of the departments, and they might be. Let's pick a workflow, one feedback workflow. So first step is this Contoso Electronics NZ company has a website, and customers, as a step one, customers submit some feedback on the website using a form, and that goes into let's say a SQL storage database. Okay, and from there the data engineers, they create a pipeline to copy data into some kind of a data lake for let's say data scientists or data analysts to analyze. Okay, and from there the data science predicts the sentiment of the feedback that they have that the customers have put in. And then finally, in step 5, the Power BI developers use that to communicate the sentiment of the products to the product owner, which can be used to continuously improve the products of Contoso Electronics NZ. So that's one of the workflow. Okay, and likewise, there are a lot of workflows that are there in this company. And the issues that I have identified is data is scattered, and because there are a lot of workflows, copies of data end up in different places, and also the data is in different formats, and also sometimes you have proprietary systems where data is very hard to access, and as a result of this, many pipelines are set up using that workflows, and you will have data copied all over the place. So it is very complex. Complexity of the data landscape has grown so much that it is hard to maintain. So these are all the workflow issues that will happen. And do you agree that these are the issues that you faced in your organizations?
Yep.
Can you see that? See, that is the 2023 data, AI, and ML landscape. A lot of tools you can't even read, and I can't sit and explain what those tools are, but that is the scenario at this stage. So now, if you ask a chief data officer, what does the chief data officer say? I want to be the chief data officer and not the chief integration officer. Do you agree? So you always, when you are the chief data officer, these days what is happening is they are firefighting with the integration of different systems. They usually become a chief integration officer rather than the chief data officer. So similarly, if you ask a data engineer, what would lead data engineers say? they say that any guesses? Anyone want to share if it is this complex landscape, what would data engineering lead say? Anyone wants to guess, or shall I continue? Okay, I'm a data lead engineer. So I would, in that complex scenario, what I would say is it is very hard to maintain all the pipelines, copying data between lots of different sources. And so that's why it is very complex. So, and also if you speak to a data science lead, what would they say? Because they usually need to spend time doing some modeling and predictions, or doing some data science activities. But what they do is they spend 80% of their time cleaning the data, getting from different sources. And at the end of the day, what they do is they are not clear of what the source of truth is. So which means they don't trust the data. There is no trust in the data that they collect. Agree? So so these are the issues that are there, that are being faced currently. So now, if we break that down into buckets, we can have a data ingestion bucket, data storage bucket, data engineering or data science bucket, and the business intelligence bucket. Okay. So underneath that, you have the data factory and real-time analytics under data ingestion, which is provided by Microsoft. And under data storage, you have the lake house, your data warehouses, and a new tool called KQL database, CustoQL database. And you have the data engineering and data science workloads, which is your Synapse workloads and Synapse warehouse and Synapse warehouse and Synapse data warehouse, Synapse analytics workloads. And finally you have the business intelligence, which is the Power BI. So now, so this part is more about the functions that we have discussed. Now, if we do some considerations, and think how Fabric is different. So the top layer will give you the solution for your different functions, and you have OneLake for which stores all the. It's sort of one drive for your business, which is called OneLake, and you have one copy instead of different copies. You can, because of the feature of creating shortcuts, you can create a shortcut in OneLake from anywhere, from your Amazon, AWS or GCP, or even from your SharePoint. You can create just shortcuts, which means you don't have to create copies. So that means it is one copy. And like how we discussed one of the issues as different formats, you will have one format, which is the Delta format or the Parquet format. And also in terms of user experience, everything is brought into one interface, user interface. So you will have a one user experience. And also everything is underpinned into one security. So that is what is, in a nutshell, in a layman's term, is Fabric about. It's a data analytics platform which provides everything in one location, with all the features of one format, one lake, one copy, one user experience, one security, and also on top of all this, you have the serverless compute. So if you look at this diagram, you have the data factory and the Synapse data engineering. They are provided with Spark clusters, and the data goes into customers 360, which is a Delta Parquet format. And from the Synapse data warehouse, you can use T-SQL, SQL endpoint, and then the data can go into finance. And then the format of the files are again Delta Parquet format. And all these files reside in OneLake. And from Synapse real-time analytics, you can use KQL as the compute, serverless compute, and then you can because it is real-time, the data can go into service telemetry, which is again delta packet formats. You can notice that everything is delta format, which is the universal format at this stage, for using for analytics or any other purpose or data science purpose as well. And from Power BI, also you have analysis services as the compute, and then you can store the business KPIs and things like that in delta packet format. So now I think you must have got a bit of an idea. So it's if I think of some kind of analogy, before I go into analogy. So in a nutshell, again, I'm just reiterating, it's a complete analytics platform. So everything is unified, SaaSified, and secured and governed. So you will have a one security, you will have one governance and things like that. And it is all lake centric and open. So for example, if you have some kind of your workloads in Databricks, you can, because Databricks supports the delta and packet format, you can easily migrate from Databricks to the Lakehouse, to OneLake. So in the Lakehouse centric, the features are you have one lake and one copy, and also it is open at every tier. And then it will empower every business user, because you will give access to whatever they require at whatever data they require, and control it through the one security. So and every user will be familiar with the user experience, and also it is built into Microsoft 365, and you can get insights out of actions out of the insights. And then finally, it is AI powered. So you might have heard about a lot about Copilot, and then you can have GPT on your data, so you can query on your organization data, and also drive, you can get AI driven insights. Yeah, so this is another form of what I showed you earlier. Now, I just want to finish off with an analogy. Let's think that Fabric is a restaurant, and everything is catered towards managing bigger workloads. So you have a restaurant, and then which can manage bigger workloads, and you have more tools and features to manage quality. And roles and responsibilities are handled by a team of people, not just a single person. So you have the chefs doing their job, you have the waiters doing their job, and then collecting the bills, and it's a lot faster than cooking in just your own kitchen, right? So that is the advantage of Microsoft Fabric. I just used some sort of a layman terms analogy. Now, why should we use Microsoft Fabric? Apart from the ones that I have on the screen, can anyone tell me if you can think of any use cases of why we should use Microsoft Fabric based on the discussions that we had just now? Anyone can come off mute.
Because it's SaaS, we don't need to have a deep knowledge of each of the tools. They're all built in.
Yeah, and then we don't need to sort of pay for different licenses as well. So if you have just one license, and then you can do an end-to-end solution. Yeah. Anyone else that want to contribute? Okay, let me go through what is there on the screen then. So you have enterprises must have accumulated vast volumes of data from various sources. So, and it is crucial that this data is deriving, the organizations derive value out of this data. And also the problem lies in the segregation of data, which leads to inconsistencies and discrepancies. So if you use the OneLake and the one security and all the other features of Fabric, then you will effectively handle the complications of data analytics, and Fabric can be used for this one. Okay, clear? Any questions? No questions? Yeah.
Just on OneLake, is that just Parquet formats, or does it support other formats for data?
Good question. OneLake is supports, like, you can have shortcuts, you can have other formats as well. But recommended is Parquet. It does not reject.
Okay.
It is not. When I show you the demo, maybe you will understand a bit more. In your Lakehouse,
Thanks.
you can have Parquet formats in the Lakehouse. Okay, let's jump into the demo. But before we jump into the demo, there are some prerequisites which I want to share with you. Okay, what are we going to do is we will prepare and load data into a Lakehouse and build a dimensional model in a Lakehouse, and also automatically create a report with the quick create, which is basically very, very quick. Like, we can use the automatic insights from Fabric. So, and before that, prerequisites is, first thing that you need to do is you need to enable Fabric. If your organization did not enable Fabric, then you would not be able to use it. And also, if you are not signed up yet, you can sign up for a free trial, which will allow you to use Fabric for 60 days. And you can also create a new, you have to create a new workspace and assign a Fabric capacity to that workspace. And also you can also use an existing workspace as well, but as long as you have a Fabric capacity assigned to that workspace, it will work. Okay, so let's get started. I'll just stop sharing and share my okay, any ideas before I share? I just want to ask a question. Any ideas of what do you call how you can access Fabric? Has anyone played around?
How you can access Fabric, did you say?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I kind of viewed it as a set of products, but
Okay.
it might just be my view. So it's kind of, well, how do you get to the underlying products and using Fabric?
Any other answers before I reveal the answer? Okay. How do you access Power BI?
Yeah. I think
We
Fabric,
have an application.
Sorry.
I think from the Power BI online URL, you can directly access Fabric.
Yes.
It's more like has the same interface. It has the same interface.
Yes, you are right, Shivan. Okay. So to access Power BI service, what do you type? Silence.
Yeah, just do it.
What do you type to access Power BI service? How do I access Power BI service?
It's app.powerbi.com.
Perfect. App.powerbi.com.
Yep.
And then once I usually when you just type app.powerbi.com, you need to sign in, because I am already signed in. It's just showing me this interface. So you must have noticed a different change if you have recently gone into app.powerbi.com, and also if Fabric is enabled in your organization. This is the interface that you see. What do you see here? If you click on the bottom right or left, where you can see the Power BI icon, you just click on that, and then you can see all the components that we have seen in those PowerPoint slides, right? So you have data engineering, data science, data warehouse, real-time analytics, and Power BI data factory, and all these things. Okay. Now, what I'll do is I'll go to workspaces, and I already have a workspace named Fabric Workspace. And if we look at the Fabric Workspace, there is a new, I have already a data pipeline and also a data flow. What we are going to do today is we are first going to prepare some data using a data flow, prepare and load data. So what I'll do is I'm going to create a new lake house. What is a lake house? Anyone can answer.
Seems to be a collection of data sources or Parquet files or something like that.
Yeah, its lakehouse has a feature of storing both unstructured data as well as structured data. So you have files and tables. So I'm just going to create a new new lakehouse. Okay, so new, and there is under data. Okay, maybe I'll just go through. If you go into data engineering from here, from the bottom corner, right or left, I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay, if you change that to data engineering, what happens is you can see that there you can create in the current workspace, which is Fabric Workspace, you can create a new lakehouse, new notebook, new environment, which is in preview, new Spark job definition. You can create a new data pipeline. You can create a import notebooks, and you can use a sample as well. So now what we'll do is we'll create a new lakehouse. So I'm just clicking on that and then giving a name, Christchurch. Okay. Fabric demo. So now this has created a lake house, and if you click on the it's at the moment empty, and then you can see that there is tables and files. Now what we want to do is we want to get data. I have a file, a Parquet file, which I want to load as a data flow. So for that, and also this interface is very similar to what?
Power BI?
Yeah, Power BI, not Power, yeah, it's called Power Query Online. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can get data and you can go into new data flow Gen 2. And then once it loads, I have a Power Query template. So I'm just importing the data from a Power Query template. So I'm just importing, and then this is the console sales is my Parquet file. Its Parquet file extension is .pqt, and then you can open. And this particular template has, you have to, before we do anything, we need to configure the connection. So I'm just going to configure the connection, and I just keep the authentication kind as anonymous, and then I just say connected. See, it's all intuitive. You just have to figure out and then just do it. Okay, now we have different folders here called data staging, data load, and data transformation. I will come here and into the data load folder and then look at the dim date table. And I just want to do one transformation of date key here. I just want to change that to date time. And also I want to just replace current. Okay. Now, Okay, now what I want to do is I want to add a data destination, but what I can see here is it's all grayed out. I can't do it because we have done it from the we have used get data from Lakehouse. It has already assigned the destination here, if you can see. So in this, if we go to the settings and then go choose, because our connection, what we want, the data destination is our Lakehouse. So that's what we want to do the connection. So I'm just going to go to next and then choose my data connection. And the data connection is in Fabric Workspace. So I'm just going to open that. Table name, I'm just going to leave the same, dim date. And I'm just going to choose the Lakehouse that I've just created, which is the CHCH Fabric demo. And then go next. And then I'm just going to go through this. And if I want to change I can't change anything here. I'm just going to save settings because I'm just using automatic settings. Similarly, I want to go through the same thing before I publish. I just want to go through the same thing with dim employee. So click on dim employee and then go to settings, next. And choose Fabric Workspace. Taking a bit of time. Fabric, and then next. And then save settings. I will again choose dim store. Go through the same process, next. I just want to load 4 files. It's taking time. Fabric, and then go. And then save settings. And I want to load I have loaded dimensions. What else can I load? Just checking whether you are. Sorry? Mark, you said something. Sorry, I couldn't hear. I think he said facts. So yeah, you need to have at least one fact table. And in here, my fact table is in the data transformation folder, which is called fact online sales. And I will do the same thing, settings, next. Choose the Fabric Workspace. And then next. Save settings. Okay, now I'll just go and publish. You have options of publish now and publish later. I just go hit publish. Once I hit publish, so now it has created a Fabric demo Lakehouse, and underneath that it is creating a semantic model and a SQL endpoint. Right. Okay. So this takes a bit of time. Let's see what I have done in one of the earlier Lakehouses. So if I go into this Lakehouse. You can see all the tables that I have created, right? Okay. So now, what else can we do? Okay, we have the files in the Lakehouse. Let us, we have, so that means we have loaded the data. we can do is maybe we can create a pipeline. So to create the pipeline, what we need to do is we will go back to create the new data pipeline.
Indira,
Yeah.
I have a question. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
So basically, what we have done is we have converted the data in the Parquet format into a more like a SQL table structure, right? That's what we have done, right?
These are Parquet files, but you can see it as a table SQL structure.
Yeah. Okay. No,
Okay.
all good.
Yeah. And also you can use this SQL analytics endpoint to query the data as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so now let's go and create a create a new data pipeline. I'm just trying to see where I can. Okay, so there is a data pipeline here. Okay, so this is the data flow that we have created. See this one? And it is still refreshing. If we look at the properties of the other data, the first data flow that I have created, you can just name that data flow as something that you can recognize. Okay, DF or something like that, and then you can save it. Because by default, it just gives a data flow as the data flow 1, data flow 2 as the as your this thing. So now if I want to go and create what do you call a pipeline, what you can do is you can just go and click on the new data pipeline, and then you can give a name. And then create. Now from here, what you can do is you can, okay, so I'm just going to cancel this one. Just cancel because that's a start screen. You can add a pipeline activity or copy data or choose a task. So I just go and add a pipeline activity. Okay, add a pipeline activity. Just lost it. And then you can choose the data flow because that's what you have loaded. You have created. You have created a data flow. So I'm just going to say that this is the data flow activity. Data flow activity, and you can go to the settings. Fabric workspace is my workspace, and then you can choose. I'm going to choose, yeah, because this is in your in the lake. You will have the data flow that is that is accessible in that lake house, because you can't. Okay, you can. Okay, so I'm just going to add this data flow, fabric data flow, which we have renamed. Yeah, and then we can rename that to like sales activity or whatever. What we can do is we can do a add another if I click on this one and go settings, notification, is notification not coming? Open, let's open this one. Okay, it's going to open the. Okay, this is the pipeline. It's going into the pipeline. It's not, didn't save, looks like. Okay. And a data flow. Saves pipeline. Choose the data flow. For some reason it's not coming. Yeah. Under activities tab, there should be email activity. Oh yeah, my my Office 365 Outlook activity. And here what you can do is mail on failure. Is it, you can sign in, you need to sign in. Access, you need to confirm that. And then you can configure where you want the alert to go to. So I'm just going to give data flow failed or something like that. You can add dynamic content as well, but I'm just going to keep it simple. And you can add workspace ID and pipeline ID as in the body. And then what you need to do is from here, if it is success, you don't want to do anything. But if it is fail, you need to send an email to you. So that's why I connect the data flow, this data flow activity. If it fails, then it will it will send me an email. So that's the pipeline that I have created. And then once we do that, we can write some expressions as well, and then some system variables as well. And then what it does is it will send on the data pipeline failure. It sends me the email as an alert if your data flow is failed, and then you can go and look at the what do you call the activity, the data pipeline. So that's one of the uses of this pipeline. I just showed you a very simple pipeline. Now let's go into again the other scenario that I wanted to show was to create some quick insights. So I'm just going into the Power BI part of it, and I'll just go into Fabric, and I'm going to choose this because the lakehouse, in the lakehouse, when we created the data flow, it created both semantic model and the SQL endpoint. So this semantic model is nothing but Power BI dataset. So I'm just going to use this semantic model, and then maybe just click on this. And you can either explore data or you can use the auto create report. So what it will do is it will okay, maybe I'll use something that I have already created. earlier. So let's do that because it's not connecting. Maybe it's still creating for me. It is my workspace, fabric workspace. Oh God, it's taking time. Do it now. Okay, so which one is the demo that I can use is my question. 28.2, nothing on 28.2. Look at. I can go and try and use this one to create report. You get the if this could have worked, then you get the auto create report of that workspace. But for some reason, I'm not able to get it. Yeah, there is untitled report. Let's see. Okay, this is creating the report, but it's not able to connect to the semantic model. Okay, meanwhile, maybe I can show you the SQL endpoint and maybe we can create a relationship. Hopefully that will be accessible. Let's see. Okay, you have the SQL endpoint. I'll just show you how you can use that. So you can open that and it opens in the Explorer. And this gives you the data preview. And you can do a new visual query. And then you can drag your tables. Or you can use a new SQL query and then you can say select top even private select top rows from the dim customer. So you get the top 100 rows from the dim customer. So that is, you can connect to the SQL endpoint. I'm not sure why we are not able to connect to the semantic model, but that's in a nutshell, that's the that's what I wanted to show you today. Hope you have learned something and you can start exploring Fabric. Any questions?
I've got a question. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you do this with OneLake, is the idea then that you consume these tables into or SQL queries into Power Query and Power BI or?
Yes, yes, yeah. Not so much SQL queries, but you can connect I'm not able to show you today, but you can connect to the semantic model that is created. Semantic model is nothing but Power BI data set, which has been renamed as semantic. And then you can use that semantic model in your report, yeah. So for example,
so
maybe let's try that.
Power Query, or this is the use of Power Query in that chain. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Thanks.
You can even use the Power BI desktop to do that.
Yeah.
To connect to that semantic model. Yeah.
Okay. So this will run in the cloud then, rather than
yes, everything in the cloud.
Okay.
Yeah. Good question, Mark. Any other questions?
Indira, on
Yeah.
sorry, on the Power Query, setting up the data flow, there's a publish now or publish later option. Do you know what that does? Why you would want to publish later?
Yeah, you can publish later and then you can schedule. Let's let's go and explore that. I haven't used the publish later option. So let me go and maybe we can edit the data flow, right? Let's go and edit the data flow and see.
Thanks, Lucas.
You have this data flow, right? So we will go into that data flow and do some editing. So for example, let's say I didn't load the dim customer. So I just go into dim customer and then follow the same process of assigning the lake house. To fabric. Oh, there is dim customer. Okay, let's go dim customer 2. Okay, so next, and I'm just replicating what is there. So save. And now if I go publish later, I don't know what it does. It just went off. That's it. Publish later. Don't know. It might publish it later. But it didn't give me an option. I would think that it would give me an option as to when to publish it, but it did not give that option. So sure. So maybe we can schedule, but this is refresh, not the publish part of it. So I am not sure, but a very good question though.
Thank you.
So, yeah, and also you can view the lineage as well. View the lineage. I just want to show you the lineage. So if you come to the data flow 2, you can view the lineage as to what is happening here. So you can go, what are the sources for data flow 2? It's using the web as the source, and then the data went into data flow, and then from there it is stored in the lakehouse. So something like that. You can view the lineage as well. Any more questions?
Yeah. Where does Data Factory fit in, and I guess the cognitive services or AI?
So
services, where do they fit into Fabric?
Yeah. So there is a Data Factory here. So if you can go into Data Factory, you can add data pipeline here using that new data pipeline.
And would that be used? In what sort of use cases would you be using Data Factory for?
Data Factory, if you want to get some copy some data or
into Lakehouse, into OneLake.
Into Lakehouse, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So anything else? Any other questions? I haven't explored the data science and real-time analytics part yet, so not able to show you. Yeah.
We are next to.
Any other questions, or shall we wrap up?
Anything more? We can post some more on the chat. We can also come back. I think the scheduling one is a pretty good question. I would have thought it's for, I've got a few use cases in mind, but maybe we'll double check that and come back to this group with that question. So anything else, feel free to send through either by email and we can respond to a specific question. So all that's left for me to do is sort of thank Indira immensely. I'm not the technical person in the room. It felt easy.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all for coming. And we wish you all the best. We'll button off now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really good. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.